boom, which is what some guy said, and that pissed off my girlfriend as we were watching this yesterday. Finally saw Oppenheimer. Finally saw it. Took my girlfriend, took my dad. I bought the tickets myself. We saw it. It's a fun movie. First movie in like God knows how many years that he openly wanted to go to the movies and see. This has been praised by just how good it is. One of the best movies of the year. One of Christopher Nolan's best, if not his best. His magnum opus, I've heard a lot of people say. Going to be nominated for a lot of Oscars, is the rumor mill. And is it true? No, it's a giant bomb. It is the bomb. And because of that, the bomb blew up the box office. So yeah, I spun that around. This movie's fantastic. Like, everything you have heard is legit. Like, there's... Well, let me see if I can think of any negative before I go start ranting and raving about the movie. Is it long? Yeah. Does it feel like that sometimes? A bit. You can feel the length sometimes. But but immediately when you start feeling the length, it then suddenly just goes into something more interesting again. If you've ever watched, and I do recommend you watch it because they're great. If you've ever watched Cinema Therapy, one of the guys who does Cinema Therapy, it's two guys. One's a filmmaker, and the other is a professional therapist. They're best friends, and basically what they do is they break down like, from a therapeutic standpoint, like the psychology of people, like the healthier, all that. I love their stuff. I love Cinema Therapy. But one of the guys, Alan, points out the best visual effect you can have as a director is this. Is that the face? And this movie's kind of a testament to that. It is acting. Is actors acting, and there's special effects obviously because you got to do the bomb. He's got visions of like bombs and stars all the time, but really it is just a character piece. It is, and so many characters are in this piece, and it is a tour de force of acting. It really is. All the praise you're hearing about all the actors are right. I always forget, is it Cillian or Cillian? I always say Cillian. I might be wrong in that, but I'm going to say Cillian. Correct me if I'm wrong. Cillian Murphy as Oppenheimer. I don't know if he's going to win. We got a lot more movies to still come out. The man's getting a nomination for best performer, like best lead. They truly captured Oppenheimer kind of as he was. Not an evil man, but certainly not a good man, at least in the general sense of the term. Like, did he not? He did some bad stuff. Oppenheimer did some bad stuff. But the thing was, he was aware of it. He was aware of his fault as a human being, which is what makes him not a good person, but not an evil person, not even necessarily a bad person. He really floats in that weird gray area. Of course, I'm sure if he were somehow still alive, or if you were to bring him back and ask him, he'd probably say he was a monster. And there's a lot of people today who would say he's a monster because he gave us the atomic bomb. But they really do a fantastic job of portraying him. When we first see him as a young man, he's still very lively. His skin's very, bright, and like he's got life to him. He's a bit of a worry or nervous wreck at points, but you still see the youth and vitality. But by the end of the movie, man, he is so haggard and dead looking at points. Like the sunken in eyes. Like, man, he is haggard, and he is destroyed as a person for what he has done and created. Emily Blunt plays one of his first wife. She's great. She's fantastic. I'd be willing to bet she'd get a Best Supporting Actress nomination. Matt Damon's great. Cillian Murphy is probably like the big main one we're focusing on. We see so many other people like show up. Albert Einstein's in there for a few moments, played by, do I have him here? I do not. But there's a lot of actors you recognize. Jason Clarke is in there. He's one of the guys who's doing a testimony of or an internal investigation about Oppenheimer. A lot of actors you'd recognize. Kenneth Branagh is in there. Robert Downey Jr. plays Lewis Strauss. He's basically narrating kind of what the events of what has happened with Oppenheimer throughout the years. And this movie is told, the way this movie is directed is brilliant because it's not told linear. It is told in the past, it's told in the future, or what their present was, and a little bit of what the future would ultimately would bring. And it's really him. It's him standing trial. I can't remember exactly what he was standing trial for. Not even trial. He was testifying before Congress, and it's the reveal of how him and Oppenheimer kind of how they worked together, sort of, and ultimately what happened with them. But he's telling the story, and we see the story in mostly color, but when we see it in black and white, from what I heard, the stuff that happened in black and white is about as close to reality as possible. Maybe not 100%, but as close as possible, given what we know. The rest of it is obviously told for the story, but as far as we know, a good chunk of it happened, just dramatized. But as far as the black and white stuff, that happened, at least to whatever degree it happened. And it's, again, like I said, as close to reality as possible. But Robert Downey Jr., man, and I loved him as Iron Man. We forget that he was an Oscar-nominated actor. He getting the Best Supporting Actor nomination this year. He may damn well win it. I have to see everyone else, all the other movies that are going to be nominated, but he may damn well win it. There are points, my dad put it best, you hate this guy. You hate, especially when he's admitting what he's doing. You hate him. And he goes on some rants about, how it all went down and why I should thank him. But it's still Robert Downey Jr. And he still has that level of charm and charisma that Robert Downey Jr. has. And he, while you hate him, he's still somehow weirdly likable. You like the fact you hate him, and there's just a little bit of charm still in him. I don't know what it is. It's just the power of Robert Downey. All the other actors are fantastic. Florence Pugh is in the movie as his first wife for a little bit. There was some nudity in the film that I had heard about, but I've remembered sitting next to my girlfriend and dad, oh yeah, now we're watching her grind, humping Cillian Murphy. So, hooray! This isn't awkward at all. There's another scene where they're sitting across the street naked, having a conversation after the sex. It's well, interesting. But no, yeah, this film. What this film does fantastic is it does not glorify any of these events. Nothing would happen is they glorify, because they go on to say the atomic bomb created the energy race, and they created the nuclear arms race, and we created the hydrogen bomb from that, and that got us into the Cold War with the Soviets. And and they talk about how Oppenheimer tried to dismiss the idea of the hydrogen bomb at first. Whether he did or not, I don't know. That part's not part of the black and white theoretically happened stuff. But it's just at the fact, and it doesn't end on a happy. It doesn't a happy note. In fact, it ends on a very poignant note, really. But I think that is intentional, and I think it's there's no happy ending. The Oppenheimer story is a sad ending. And I think the reason it hits so hard is because it is kind of poignant today. We still have the nuclear arms. We still have these missiles. We still have these weapons that we're still making, by the way. We don't need these things. Nuclear energy should have been used for renewable resources, renewable energy, not, and then, move on to more renewable energy beyond that. Like solar and wind, all that. Should have been the stepping stone for that, not for war. But because of what we are what we are as a species, that and the arrogance of politicians and power, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, it's ultimately where we ended up. And Oppenheimer did know this. He built the bomb not because he wanted America to have a bomb, but as he says, he knew what it meant if the Nazis had a bomb, and he knew they'd use it. And it was important that they made the bomb first, because, and even then, they knew after the fact they bombed Japan, which they very tastefully just talked about the fact they did it. You can see what that is. And there's a scene with Truman, which I won't say who plays Truman. That That was a cameo I wasn't expecting. I'll put it that way. But guy who's worked with Nolan a lot. But there's a line he has, like, I feel like I have blood on my hands. And Truman just kind of like, no, they screaming your name? No, they're screaming at me and all that. You didn't do anything. You didn't drop the bomb. To which Oppenheimer just leaves. And I would have basically said, if I were Oppenheimer, if I had the galls to actually continue to argue the point with him, it's like, with all due respect, Mr. President, I think we both know that's actually a load of shit. You dropped the bomb. But who made that for you to drop? You don't drop anything unless I created it. In essence, I created something that can now wipe out an entire country. It doesn't matter who's using it. Doesn't matter who decides to press the button. Yeah, blood's on your hands. Doesn't mean it's not on mine. And if you're going to be that arrogant to think that way, you shouldn't be in office. And then I would have been permanently kicked out, lost all my positions, all that. So, yeah. I would have ruined my career as Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's career kind of got screwed over anyway. But yeah, so that's at least in my head, even as I'm watching that scene, I'm like, yeah, no. Like, it's, if you make something and it's used for death, well, guess what? You stole the responsibility as the person who created that. But, so yeah, I mean, and then obviously excuse me, oh God, I had dinner a little while ago. Coming back on me a bit. The drop of the test of the bomb. My girlfriend commented to me, my dad even agreed, like, and he wouldn't normally see a movie second time, but I was like, yeah, if the opportunity came to watch this on an IMAX, yeah, yeah. Nothing else, just watching for that scene. That being said, if I'm paying money for an IMAX, I'm watching the whole damn movie. But no, yeah, it visually, like, you felt it. You felt it. It was so impactful. And like the story of Oppenheimer, like, again, he was charismatic, but he was maybe just a little crazy. But he was a theorist and he was a scientist in that sense. And like he created, like, and I am death, destroyer of worlds. That's basically it. I won't say what the line is at the end, but it's a line that's a callback to a scene that happens earlier in the movie, where we don't know what they say, and then we find out what they said. And it is truly poignant. It is like the most poignant line, period. And so, yeah, look, if you have not seen Oppenheimer and you're interested, go out and see it. If you've seen Oppenheimer and you want to see it again, go out and see it. If you haven't seen Oppenheimer and you don't want to see it, can't I say anything against that? Look, Oppenheimer, man, go see it. Go check it out. It is fantastic. It's going to be, right now, if you're talking about like frontrunners for best film of the year, like what the Oscars would be, best film probably is going to go to that. Dune's probably going to give it a run for its money, though. Dune and Napoleon are going to be two really big contenders, I think. And Spider-Verse. I think Spider-Verse should be in the running. I think Spider-Verse might still be my favorite film of the year, but this now holds a tight. It's a tightrope walk now, almost there, if not surpassing. I'd have to think on it more. I only saw it just yesterday. But yeah, Best Picture, Best Director nomination, maybe Best Adaptation because I think it's based on the book American Prometheus. Best Actor, Best Lead Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Sound Design. I've heard there might be a visual effects. That one's debatable, but there are some good visual effects when you're talking about the explosions and his hallucinations, we'll call them. Overall, I have nothing but praise for this movie. This movie is everything people have been making it out to be, and possibly more. So by all means, check it out if you're interested. If you have seen the movie, what did you think? Let me know. But until then, thanks for watching. I'm going to be seeing The Last Voyage of the Meteor tonight. Let's see how that is. Actually, I should check what the box office Rotten Tomatoes is. Not box office, but Rotten Tomatoes is right now, because it hadn't lifted it yet since yesterday. Never a good sign. Anyway, I'll see you later, folks. Have a good one.